And we're back, YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I appreciate that. And today, let's review Shadow of War, which is the sequel to the 2014 action adventure game Shadow of Mordor. Once you start playing the new game, it feels very familiar to the first game in terms of look, feel, presentation. It's also a continuation of the first game and the story of Talion, who is one of the most blend characters to appear in any video game, and his ghostly friend Celebrimbor, and both are still out for revenge on Sauron because of different reasons. Now, the story is simply a disgrace to the Talking legacy. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's all over the place. It's almost shocking to me that there doesn't seem to be any quality control from the Talking estate, and it sort of proves that Warner Brothers, the publisher of this game, can do whatever they want with the lore. Also, what shocked me is how very little progression has been made in terms of graphics. Yes, some of the backdrops look better and more varied, but the character models do not. And what's also back in full swing is the Nemesis system. It's really the backbone of this game. It's still great, and if you don't know what the Nemesis system is, it's basically an ongoing power struggle within the ranks of the orcs and uruks, I think. And it's really up to you to kill those high-placed enemies to progress. Not sure how it actually works technically, but these enemies seems to be put together from different body parts and sort of randomized in a way with voices and trades and strengths and weaknesses and fears, which is great, and it gives these enemies a personality, and some of them are just hilarious, really, and great voice acted, and just amazing to see in this game. Really unique. It's a really unique system, and it's just surprising to me that this system is not adopted by any other game, which tells me that's obviously not very easy to replicate. Now, still, after so many hours of playing this game, even the Nemesis system becomes a shadow of boredom, so to speak. You start to realize that it's kind of a never-ending threat mail, and you do get sort of a sense that you've seen enemies before, and they keep appearing in the system. And things are not helped by the repetitive combat, and it still very relies on frequent button presses and quick time events, and you probably settle for one or two moves that seem to work very well, like the flipping over an enemy and then sort of slashing until your power gauge is full, and then you can release a special move, which is great. It looks great, but it sort of becomes repetitive. So, but you have to slay a lot of orcs and enemies that are kind of bland and similar looking to get back to that one specific enemy that you need to kill. That enemy that has bested you before, has killed you, and if you succeed to get this sense, if you kill the enemy, you get this sense of satisfaction, and that goes a long way, actually. Still, that enthusiasm, that fun that you have, will sort of weather down as the hours pass. It's pretty much the same problem with the first game, where the first game suffered from. It just can't hold your attention for long stretches of time. Sure, they've put in a lot of new stuff in this game, but it still boils down to that grind of combat and killing, and nothing in the world actually changes because of that. Now, sure, they've put in a lot of new stuff. Again, a nice addition, I think, is the orc management, the capturing of high-placed orcs and using them for these fort sieges. So that's fun. I enjoyed that. And there's a lot more stuff in there that just seems to be filler and stuff that kind of is there to make the game bigger, more bloated. And also, the multiplayer feels very tagged on. And once you've done these things a couple of times, it sort of boils down to the same thing over and over again. So it's pretty much the same as in the first game. It just becomes tedious, it becomes repetitive, and not much fun after so many hours. But still, the backbone, what holds the game up, is the Nemesis system. It's still fun. If you've enjoyed that in the first game, you'll enjoy it in this game as well. And yes, there are microtransactions in the game, but they do not really seem to affect gameplay much, I think. It's there, it's kind of annoying, but more importantly, it's more of a foreshadowing, so to speak, of things to come, of where this industry is going with AAA titles, that they seem to go to a direction of creating a open world, or sort of what they call a persistent world, where you are in this endless grind and you can buy new stuff that keeps you engaged in the game. And this is not where we should want the industry to go. So, but it's still, on the other hand, it's still hard not to recommend the game because of the Nemesis system. Without it, it would be a very average and mediocre game. But there is some good fun here. There's some really good humor, and some of the orcs are just outrageously funny and great and just amazing. And it's satisfying at times just to kill them. So that's what I think of Shadow of War. Let me know what you think, and see you next time. Bye.